I'm Lenny Baticki. This week on Wind Tunnel.
Justin Marks has entered the Wind Tunnel. Is an Indy 500 entry in TrackHouse's racing future?
Yeah, it's 100%. It's 100% a goal of TrackHouse. My father took me to the Indianapolis 500 in 1995, and that's where this all started for me.
He's an IndyCar Series and Indy 500 champion. Hunter Reay joins me now. Do you want to go back to IndyCar with a full-time ride?
To be honest with you, this is something I needed. I mean, it was nice, like I said, after that long run with the team, to have a year of trying new things. You know, I'm 41. You know, I've definitely got less years ahead of me racing than I do behind.
Taking this week's Advance Auto Parts victory lap is 19-year-old Evan Shotko. What does a 19-year-old do with the $40,000 that you banked from your victories at Jennerstown and Berlin?
Oh, I've been telling everybody that money was spent a long time ago. It just recouped a little bit in the bank account.
You'll hear from these three, as well as all our weekend racing updates on this week's episode of Jack Arute's Wind Tunnel.
Wind Tunnel is brought to you by Advance Auto Parts, the official auto parts retailer of NASCAR. Here's your Wind Tunnel host, Jack Arute.
I'm pleased that you decided to join me this week. Now, before we get to this week's guests, let's review this past weekend's racing action. For NASCAR, it was a trip to the scenic Finger Lakes region of New York and the Watkins Glen International Raceway. In the Xfinity race, it was a fender-flailing finish that saw Kyle Larson take the top honors.
The restart's so important. Byron on the inside, Gibbs on the outside, back up through the gears to go. A great restart for Gibbs. We'll see if he can make it work. To the inside, the 17 goes up the racetrack. He goes, and the 54 has to go very high now.
Almost all the top 10 is off the course. They're three wide for third as everybody's jostling for real estate. Ty Gibbs is slipping in the corner. Byron goes wide to accommodate. They lean on each other in turn four. Side by side for the lead. Larson thinks for a moment, three wide at the backstretch.
Larson's going to push this 17 of Byron down into the braking zone. Here comes Ty Gibbs side by side. There's going to be contact. Buzz cars go spinning. Buzz cars are spinning out of the lead. Larson goes through AJ. Sammy Smith into third.
Impressive up through the S's, too wide for the 17 and the 54. And now we see the 54 live at the bottom is backwards again. And then right here into the bus stop, you just know too wide, very difficult. The 54 drives it in and just gets loose and takes the 17 with him. Larson comes through.
One more opportunity for him into 7. Larson's able to drive away from him.
Kyle Larson, after making some changes to the car, had to start in the back. He goes all the way to the front, and Kyle Larson's going to win at the Glen.
The next day, it was the Cup Series turn, and despite a wet weather start, Larson used a hip check move on his Hendrick Motorsport teammate Chase Elliott to sweep the races at the Glen.
And back up through the gears we go. Elliott on the outside, Larson on the inside. They're side by side still. And Larson surging ahead now as they get into one. He outbrakes him, but he slides up the track. As they both slide up the track, it opens the door for A.J. Allmendinger.
Kyle Larson used up Chase Elliott coming into turn number 1. It's going to earn him the lead before he gets to turn number 2.
He won here a year ago, and he looks to go back-to-back at the Glen. Kyle Larson comes out on the front stretch. He'll see the checkered flag. Larson wins again at the Glen.
Tell me about the move to pass your teammate Chase Elliott. We did see the right front locked up going into turn 1.
Yeah, and I knew that was kind of my only opportunity. I'm not proud of it, but being in the inside lane or the right lane, and you being the leader choosing the left lane, it's definitely wins out. But when it gets late in the race, it's definitely risky. And like I said, I knew that was my only opportunity to get by him. So I felt like our cars were pretty equal today, and had a lot of fun after the green flag cycle trying to chase him down, and kind of burnt my stuff up a little bit, but the restarts kept me in it and kept our team in it. So proud of our guys. Good to get another win here at Watkins Glen. Get some more bonus points going in the playoffs, which is we haven't had many of those this year. So hopefully this will build on some momentum and we can keep racking up some more points.
Now, before we get to our weekly update from the short track scene, let's move to IndyCar and Gateway, just outside of St. Louis, that hosted the IndyCar Series for their final oval race of the season, and a points race that is incredibly tight. Rain stopped the race for more than 2 hours with just 43 laps left to go. But when they cranked them back up, it was Joseph Newgarden who was on a championship mission.
Joseph Newgarden wins back-to-back years at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Make that 4 for Newgarden here at this track in the PPG Chevy. Awesome performance. And that's his 5th win on the season.
Great job, guys.
Actually, make it 3 in a row here.
You.
This man's on a mission, and he's within 3 of the championship lead.
This is a great night. This is a very big night. You got to win. You got to win these races when you're in position to do it. And I wanted to close that one out really badly, really badly. And so I was elated that we were able to get back going, and I had the opportunity on the restart. I'm thankful to my teammate. I thought Scott drove me with a tremendous amount of respect. He raced me hard. He wasn't giving me anything, but he just gave me a lot of respect. Like you would expect from a teammate, but I think he goes above and beyond sometimes, and it's a big night for all of us.
And finally, let's get you up to date on all of last weekend's NASCAR Advance Auto Parts weekly racing action. Here's PRN's Lenny Viticki, who filed this report.
Thanks a lot, Jack. This is your NASCAR Advance Auto Parts Weekly Racing Series report. We'll start out at Bethel Motor Speedway in New York. John Cody, the winner there. Chris Turbush gets the victory at Riverhead. Evergreen Speedway in Washington to Thomas Stanford. Truett Miranda victorious at South Carolina's Florence Motor Speedway, while at Greenville Pickens, Riley Gentry and Mag Tate split the victories. Jason Myers wins at Bowman Gray Stadium in North Carolina. They crown Tim Brown the 12-time champion in the modified division. Clay Jones, the winner at Wake County. Monadnock Speedway in New Hampshire to Kyle Boniface. Chris Schroeder gets the victory at Hudson. Claremont falls to Hayden Grenier. Luke Ramsey, a winner at Adams County in Iowa. Berlin Raceway in Michigan. Kyle Crump and Evan Shotko both get the checkers. Zach Riddle wins at Madison International in Wisconsin. Eastbound Park in Canada. Spencer Haywood got that victory. David Airbear, a winner at Autodrome Granby. Elko Speedway in Minnesota. Jake Ryan and Billy Mon split the victories. Toby McIntyre, winner at Coos Bay. Jennerstown, Pennsylvania to Brian Shipp. Grandview to Craig Van Doren. Jalen Hardbarger victorious at Kansas's Salina Highbanks. Motor Mile Speedway in Virginia to Mike Looning. Peyton Sellers and Lane Riggs split the victories at South Boston. Langley the same for Greg Edwards and Justin Carroll. Alex Brock, a winner at Dominion. Magic Valley Speedway in Idaho to Anthony Quintana. Kyle Tellstrom wins at Meridian. New Smyrna Speedway in Florida to Brad May. Chad Smith, a winner at Rockford, Illinois. And Seekonk Speedway in Massachusetts to Crystal Murray. That's your NASCAR Advance Auto Parts Weekly Racing Series report. Thanks for having us.
And there you have it. Now you're completely up to speed.
First up this week,
Ryan Hunter Reay, his 6th career win and 2nd win in Milwaukee.
Ryan Hunter Reay wins the Iowa Corn Indy 250.
3 in a row for Ryan Hunter Reay. The American will take over the championship lead.
Less than a car length is the difference. The final turn. Hunter Reay to call the finish. The voice of the 500, Paul Payne.
And it is Ryan Hunter Reay that is going to lead Elio Castroneves across the line. Ryan Hunter Reay has his first Indianapolis 500-mile race win.
You will hear from Ryan Hunter Reay, a.k.a. Captain America, next.
Hey, car lovers. At Advance Auto Parts, we have what you need to keep your car running all season long. So if you enjoy getting ahead of the curve when it comes to taking care of your ride, Advance Auto Parts has everything to keep your ride on track to reach the victory lap. Because you can trust the team at Advance Auto Parts to assist you in finding what you need at the right price. Stop by Advance Auto Parts, where you're always number one.
This is how we advance.
And it is Ryan Hunter Reay that is going to lead Elio Castroneves across the line. Ryan Hunter Reay has his first Indianapolis 500-mile race win.
Welcome back to your podcast home for motorsports conversation. Jack Arute's Wind Tunnel.
Well, his accomplishments in IndyCar racing earned him the nickname Captain America. Who needs a Marvel comic book when you have Ryan Hunter Reay, who joins me right now? Ryan, it's good to have you with us. We all know the saga and the wins in not only the Indy 500, but so many other wins, starting with that great victory at Watkins Glen. But this has been a year where I'm just going to say you've been on hiatus because you did compete in the SRX series, but you've also signed with Chip Ganassi Racing for the future for his IMSA efforts. But I wonder, just how badly do you want to get back in the cockpit of an IndyCar?
Well, Jack, it's great to be on. Thanks for having me. And actually, I really enjoyed the year. I was with the same program for 12 years, basically, and obviously had a long run there with the Andretti Autosport program. Loved working with the people there. And, Michael and I agreed at the end of 2020 that 2021 would be our last year together. So this has all been coming for a while, and to be honest with you, this is something I needed. I mean, it was nice, like I said, after that long run with the team, to have a year of trying new things. I'm 41. I've definitely got less years ahead of me racing than I do behind. But it's been an absolute blast. Doing the SRX series, racing in the endurance races for Chip Ganassi and the Cadillac. We have Petit Le Mans coming up. Looking forward to a test in about a week and a half at Road Atlanta for that. So I'm enjoying it. And I got to spend the summer with my kids. I got to do a lot with them. We traveled throughout the Midwest in the motorhome going the SRX races. And it's something that I get to cherish those moments in the ages that they are so impressionable, being 9, 7, and 5. It was great to be able to spend that time with them.
Dick Vermeil, a dear friend of mine, always remarked, because he stepped away, as you know, from NFL coaching and then went into broadcasting and then came back with the St. Louis franchise and delivered them a Super Bowl victory. And he always remarked, he said, the wonderful thing, as much as I hated walking away from the passion that I had for the NFL, getting away from it allowed me to see it from a different perspective. Now, I've heard you comment when you're interviewed at some of the IndyCar racings. Has it happened to Ryan Hunter Reay too? Being outside the cockpit gives you a different, shall I say, world view of the state of IndyCar racing?
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, I've just been in the trenches for so long in it. I've been in a program that with the same people, and it was time for a change, and I needed that. And yeah, being on the outside looking in, I also realized what I've known all along, which is IndyCar racing is the best championship in the world, I believe. When it comes to pure entertainment, pure driving, you turn the TV on any given Saturday or Sunday to watch an IndyCar race, you have no idea who's going to win. And that's the beautiful thing. You turn on an F1 race, you've got an idea. NASCAR takes a little bit longer to pan out. Obviously, I have a lot more appreciation for what those guys do, having run against a bunch of, Cup champions in the SRX. But yeah, I'm absolutely a huge fan of IndyCar. And, I have to evaluate and look inside myself as to what I see going forward. Am I concentrating on a factory sports car program and IMSA, because IMSA's got a huge era coming up here where it's going to take off and it is taking off. It's here, with all of the GTP testing and everything that's happening there with all the manufacturers coming in. That's very, very exciting to me. I love IMSA racing. And it's been a part of my career since my early days in IndyCar. So it's a part of who I am and the driver that I am. And honestly, it's very attractive to me. And there's not a whole lot of seats left there because, the ship has sailed in many regards in some of these, but I really enjoyed my time working with CGR, and it's a great team, great group of people there on the IMSA side, the Cadillac side, the teammates that I've been working with. So I'm not really sure, I still really don't know where my focus lies for next year, but I am definitely looking hard at the endurance IMSA side of it.
All right. So in the meantime, broadening your motorsports experiences this year. How's the fishing been?
The fishing's been fun. It's been a really windy summer here. We've been up and down to the Keys in the boat with the kids. It was special doing some other things. I just went scuba diving. Well, you call it scuba diving. It's called a third lung, Brownie's third lung. Basically, it's a compressor that sits on the surface with long tubes that go down. Yeah. And watching my 7-year-old go straight to the bottom in 25, 30 feet of water was just amazing to do that with him, and we just did that. That was another first for all these kids this summer. And that was really special, going down, getting lobster, bringing them back up, eating them at night, that type of stuff is just, it's been a lot of fun. We've been doing less fishing, honestly, than we have been diving. So I've enjoyed that.
Well, Isla Morada, really, who needs to bring out a rod when you can go and do just what you're describing? I think people outside of the carnival that we live in don't realize some of the sacrifices that are made, not by you, because you get all the glory, you get to wave the checkered flag and jump out of the car, but by the family that not necessarily that you leave behind, but that have to compete not only for your attention, but your emotional attachment. Getting away from that and focusing on your kids, I can see and hear the smile in your voice.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like I said, they're at that age now where it's pretty busy. I don't know how Becky, my wife, has ever done it without me in town, leaving every week. But yeah, she is. And the moms out there deserve so much credit. But with 3 boys, 9, 7, and 5, it's important that I've been around more, been able to teach them more things, share experiences with them. And that's like I said, that's been special. And, on the IndyCar side, you're 120% in, right? You're traveling every week. You're mentally, physically, emotionally in it, and you have to be in order to compete in one of the most competitive series in the world. And the schedule is such that it takes you away a lot. It takes you away from your family a lot, and like you said, that does take a unique set of circumstances and personalities to kind of maneuver and adapt to that.
All right. So which of the 3 boys is your biggest driving critic?
Critic. I don't know. My oldest one, Ryden, he's really into racing. He wants to be an IMSA prototype driver. He does not have any interest in IndyCar, which I think is pretty interesting to me. And I've been trying to kind of unwrap that.
That says a lot about the popularity of IMSA.
That does, for sure. When a kid latches onto that, I mean, on his little iPad that he has, he's got a screenshot of one of the cars in camouflage and testing, in testing livery. It's pretty cool. But he asks the most questions. They don't really critique me too much. Sometimes they'll ask where like at the SRX races, they'll be like, well, why didn't you win? I'm explaining to them,
I heard that from him. I heard that from him. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, all right, well, I'm learning that, I need to go faster. I need to go slower, and I need to turn things down a little bit. So it's been interesting adapting that way, but, no, they're all on my team for sure. And, my youngest he's not even that into it, which is fine. Totally cool with it. But they've grown up seeing me in a yellow suit. Like that's part of my persona. Like I'm some type of superhero in a suit all the time. So it was fun to, take them to different races and see completely different race cars and a different livery, a different color. And it's funny how kids adapt and how they think and how they ask questions. And it's been fun though, doing things different this year.
Well, listen, it's been fun to follow you throughout your career, but most importantly, to see what you've been doing in 2022. Continued success. We are in your corner. We're going to get Ryder on the go-kart series up here in Connecticut so that then he can say, hey, Dad, I finished higher at Stafford than you did. But that's down the road for next year. Good luck, and thanks so much for joining me inside the Wind Tunnel today.
All right, Jack. Thanks for having me. Anytime, buddy.
Next up on Wind Tunnel.
Here comes Shotko again, digging hard on the bottom.
riding the apron of the racetrack, and that car pivots so great down on the bottom. Shotko will have none of it, and the 19-year-old scoots to the lead.
From Coopersville, Michigan is out of the car. Your winner, the 5th annual Motor Mountain Masters, is Evan Shotko.
Jennerstown was pretty big on Saturday, but it was all to get him ready for this moment. The battle at Berlin 250. He's talked about what it would mean to him to win a huge race like this at his home track, and now he's half a lap away from doing just that.
Coming up, you'll meet this week's Advance Auto Parts Victory Lap guest after this message.
Hey, car lovers. At Advance Auto Parts, we have what you need to keep your car running all season long. So if you enjoy getting ahead of the curve when it comes to taking care of your ride, Advance Auto Parts has everything to keep your ride on track to reach the victory lap. Because you can trust the team at Advance Auto Parts to assist you in finding what you need at the right price. Stop by Advance Auto Parts, where you're always number one.
This is how we advance.
Man, this is for all those guys. There's a ton of them out there that are like me, that have won here and all these great short tracks around here. We can do it. We just need the opportunities. Today proved it. Yeah, it's a short track, but it's still damn hard to win here, and we did it.
They are hometown heroes, drivers who put their passion on the line in front of their friends.
Here we go, 3 wide, got Sellers up into marbles.
Halfway home in this one. Off turn 4, he heads for the checkered flag.
Here comes Riggs. Riggs is back at it on the inside.
Jennerstown was pretty big on Saturday, but it was all to get him ready for this moment. The battle at Berlin 250. He's talked about what it would mean to him to win a huge race like this at his home track, and now he's half a lap away from doing just that.
Buckle up and hold on tight.
Time now to focus the spotlight on hometown heroes with this week's Advance Auto Parts Victory Lap, brought to you by the NASCAR Advance Auto Parts Weekly Racing Series, driving local racing in local communities forward.
Well, taking this week's Victory Lap presented by Advance Auto Parts, I guess we should say it's a $40,000 victory lap for my guest, Evan Shotko. Evan, in the span of just a handful of days, you win at Jennerstown, then go back to your home track, Berlin, for the 250 lapper. You beat a bunch of Cup regulars, and for all your efforts, you snare $40K. So America needs to know, what does a 19-year-old do with $40,000?
No, I've been telling everybody that money was spent a long time ago. It just recouped a little bit in the bank account.
Tell me a little bit about that magical week, because not that you're an overnight sensation, but certainly it has generated a lot of national coverage for you and your career goals in super late model racing.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, a dream come true. I've been wanting to win the 250 ever since I was, 6 years old or whatever. It's always been a goal of mine. And last year we were gonna win it, but we had an ignition box fail, like 30 laps to go. We had an awesome car then, and we were leading it. Ignition box failed, so we've been devastated. That's been on our mind ever since last year. To come back and win that is unreal. And then we can't forget about the Jennerstown win as well. I mean, that's a big deal. Beat some big names there. It's seriously just a dream come true.
I watched all of the Jennerstown race and most of the battle at Berlin, but that northern cat Eddie McDonald, he was all over you like white on rice there in Jennerstown. What was it as tight a battle as it looked like as I watched it on Flow?
Well, so to be honest with you, I didn't know that weather was coming. We checked the weather before the race started, and we didn't see anything on our channel. So we were just kind of trying to ride it out.
I think you'd better change the channel.
Right? So we were just riding around saving tires. And like, man, why is this guy pushing so hard? Well, come to find out, rain was right there, So I do think that we had, the best car. I mean, obviously it's hard to say, but the car was just spot on all night. Can't take anything away from those guys, though. They were pretty quick as well. I just feel like that was it was our night. The tires worked out great. The car was great. The weather came to us. Everything just aligned.
And it paved the way for a return to your home track for what is arguably one of the Midwest's late model circuit's biggest races. So when you unload it off the trailer, and there are, numerous Cup drivers that are taking one-offs to do battle at Berlin, did it hit you that you were going to be competing with some of the very, very best as you got ready to compete for those 250 laps?
Yeah, I mean, that race, we're kind of right in the middle of our hot streak. We went on a little bit of a roll. So everybody's like, oh, you got to feel really good going into this. It's like, no, I don't care how many races I won. I'm still the underdog, So it was such an honor racing against those guys. I mean, it was just really, really cool. It's not too often you can beat Cup guys like that.
So who was the toughest of the Cup guys?
William Byron was really, really good. We figured
he's a beast. He's a beast.
He is.
Yeah.
He really is. And then, Carson Hocevar, that's his home track. So, I figured they'd both be pretty tough, and they both were for a while. I felt like they pushed it a little bit too hard, too early. They burned their stuff up. So Brian Campbell and I kind of rode around the whole race, and we were the ones there at the end.
Evan, I say this all the time when I cover events. Guys like you, when you're starting in your career, your main bill of fare off the racing buffet are 35 or 45 or 50 lappers. And that means you got to get up on the wheel right from the drop of the green rag. But in the case of the big money races, young guys like you have to acquire the racecraft skill of how to save tires, how to have what you need at the end. So where did you get so good at it, and how did you get so good at it?
It's I don't really know. I have a million laps in this pavement stuff, even though I've not been doing it for crazy long. But my dad used to race. For a long time, I was tied up with like Johnny Van Dorn and stuff. I worked at Van Dorn Racing Development. So it's kind of just something that I've heard around the pits. And I don't know where I got it from or what, but apparently I'm pretty decent at it.
Apparently, 40,000 reasons why you're more than just decent at it. Another honor that a lot of people that aren't from the Midwest, I know how important it is because I was instrumental in Alan Kowicki's career at the Cup level. Winning or becoming an Alan Kowicki recipient of that great program. When you got the news about that, how did it make you feel, and how important is that to have that on your resume?
Yeah, I mean, it was seriously really cool. I never in a million years thought I was going to make it into that. It's a pretty big honor. Even when we were announced as one of the 16 possible drivers, I was like, wow, this is unreal, But it's been so cool for me so far because, I'm not a very social, outgoing person. So it's kind of pushed me outside my comfort zone a little bit. And it pushed me to, help give back to the community and things like that. So now that I'm actually doing it, it's like, okay, this is something I should have been doing for a long time. It's a really, really cool deal. And to win it would mean the world.
I must ask you, what's on your remainder of the schedule for 2022? What does Evan Shotko want to accomplish before winter strikes the Midwest and we all go into hibernation and have to relive, thanks to Flow Racing, the good old days when they were actually racing at speed at Berlin, at South Boston, at Stafford Speedway, everywhere across America? What's it going to be like between now and then for you and what you have set your goals for?
So we have recently acquired the points lead at Berlin. So we got 2 more races left there. We want to go finish out strong, go win the championship. There's 1 more race at Jennerstown, October 1st. But then after that, we're going to gear up, hopefully, if sponsor stuff lines up, and go to the Derby. probably run the Snowflake. So we're going to kind of, take a few months off, try and save up a little money, get some sponsors, get the car ready, and really gear up.
I guess, see, now it makes sense what you said when you first joined me. You already spent that $40K. So you got to find some big money races so that you can fund your efforts in Pensacola for the Snowflake and for the last big race at Jennerstown. And then, of course, I personally would like to see nothing better than you take a sizable chunk of championship cash from my buddy Jeff Striegel up there at Berlin.
Oh, that'd be nice.
What are your career goals? I'm assuming, someone your age has got your sights, at least at this point in time, set on following the Hosevars of the world and, the Cup regulars and make it to the very top. But what do you think it's going to take for you to succeed at that?
Yeah, so obviously I'd love to make it that far, but we're not millionaires. I'm just lucky to be doing what I'm doing. So I own a business working on race cars and stuff called Shotko Motorsports. So my goal is to grow that. So I'm always involved in racing, and use that money to continue driving. I don't want to run my parents broke. My goal is in the next 2 years to be able to fund 100% of my own racing. So as long as I can stay in the circle track scene and I can still drive and I can make a living racing, I'm happy.
Yeah, but wouldn't you like to go 200 miles an hour at a place like Talladega?
It would be very cool, but it comes a point in time where I got to be a little more realistic.
Yeah, 1 year ago, the Advance My Track Challenge, the $50,000 went to your home track, Berlin Raceway. There was a huge celebration. How important is it to short trackers like you to have the incredible financial and marketing support that Advance Auto Parts brings to the NASCAR Advance Auto Parts Weekly Series?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Short track, short tracks around the country, they typically don't make a ton of money. They do it because they love it. So that money is really able to help them out in the areas that they need. It's a pretty awesome thing of them to do, and I think it's really going to help out short track racing in the long run.
And there's a pretty fat check that goes to winning the track championship too.
Right. I don't even know what it is.
Hey, let's put it this way. It's Jennerstown and Berlin money. How about that?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you'd better put your nose to the grindstone, my friend.
Right.
Hey, congratulations on an incredible run. Keep it going. Keep the elbows up. Keep your nose to the grindstone. Keep working that side hustle that is going to pay for your racing with your little racing development operation. And I got a sneaky suspicion we're going to visit a number of times here in the Wind Tunnel as you continue to grab checkered flag. Evan, thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
You've been listening to the Advance Auto Parts Victory Lap, brought to you by the NASCAR Advance Auto Parts Weekly Racing Series, driving local racing in local communities forward. Coming up after the break.
Mr. Worldwide, this is how you change the world.
This is a big project, TrackHouse. Everybody that works for this company
Get lost with me tonight.
bought into the promise I think that we have.
Slow motion, chase the sun as we burn one down.
Oh yeah, amigo. I'm driving.
We go high as a mother. Nothing's gonna stop us. Come back. I've been here for years, hustling blood, sweat, tears. I say what they want, I do what they don't. I am what they ain't. I go hard like Shaq in the paint. I'm a fighter, survivor, rider. NASCAR teams Orlando. TrackHouse bringing that fire. Zach Brown and Pitt, fire.
TrackHouse Racing this year has been on fire.
I love it when they count me out. Let's party.
Ross Chastain is going to get his first NASCAR Cup Series win.
Get lost with me tonight. Cruise slow motion, chase the sun as we burn.
Here we go, and Suarez is on it.
That
99 is hustling down that straightaway, boys.
Nothing's gonna stop us.
Keep coming. Hell yeah.
How about this? TrackHouse Racing in victory lane again this season.
Hey, car lovers, at Advance Auto Parts, we have what you need to keep your car running all season long. So if you enjoy getting ahead of the curve when it comes to taking care of your ride, Advance Auto Parts has everything to keep your ride on track to reach the victory lap. Because you can trust the team at Advance Auto Parts to assist you in finding what you need at the right price. Stop by Advance Auto Parts, where you're always number one.
This is how we advance.
Welcome back to your podcast home for motorsports conversation. Jack Arute's Wind Tunnel.
Well, it is absolutely appropriate. Can't Stop Us Now by Pitbull. It has got to be the theme song for my next guest and his TrackHouse Racing operation, specifically in 2022. Justin Marks joins us here inside the Wind Tunnel. I think, Justin, there's nothing stopping you now. Congratulations on a terrific season, getting ready to ratchet it up yet again for the playoffs.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. It's been a kind of a roller coaster ride, so to speak. I mean, we've had plans all along to build a competitive organization, and we've kind of just been thrust into the spotlight, I think, a little bit quicker than any of us had anticipated. So we're sort of perpetually trying to catch up and trying to do what we can to sort of maintain the speed that we've got in the cars and keep improving every week. So we have a tremendous opportunity, and hopefully we're just in the first inning of a long game for this company. So, but it's been a great start. We're excited about it.
Yeah, there's so many topics that I do want to touch on, but I want to go to the most recent one. Certainly you forged some new ground and a new pathway with your Project 91 first outing just completed with Kimi Räikkönen. And
how about Kimi Räikkönen, the F1 champ, up to ninth on this strategy? Great experience running at the front, learning quickly, Bagley.
Kimi Räikkönen on the move. What a maiden voyage in the Cup Series for him. He's trying to wedge his way underneath and slide through. He'll do that at the bottom of turn number 2 and the bottom of the S's. Here's Kimi right now through turn number 3. He is up to ninth. He is 3.14 seconds behind the race leader. A lot of traffic to deal with, but Daly's got a full head of steam right now.
You could tell that he thoroughly enjoyed himself. Is it mission accomplished for what you had hoped to check the boxes with Kimi being your first Project 91 chauffeur?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the optics of the whole thing were wonderful. We got some great content around it. Kimi and his group were very engaged and prepared. And, we brought him a really fast race car. And, your first time doing a cup race, especially in this day and age, is really getting thrown to the wolves, no matter how much you can prepare, just because there's just so much going on and so much to learn. And, I thought he did a phenomenal job and was, he's finding more and more pace in the race, and the way that the strategy was lining up. We were gonna have a real shot, I think, at a top 10, at least a top 15 finish. So I was excited about that. I know that he really enjoyed his time with us the last 2 weeks, and I flew with him out of the racetrack yesterday, and we had discussions about the future. And I think that he's motivated to give it more. I certainly think that he feels like he's got unfinished business, but he enjoyed it enough, and the pace was there enough that he feels like there's a real opportunity to come back and be successful. But as far as mission accomplished, 100%. I mean, it was really only going to be one race this year, and we were going to be able to take a step back when it was done and take a look at the whole thing and sort of figure out what the future looks like. But I think everybody was really motivated to work hard and hopefully expand the program next year. And I think we're going to have an opportunity to do that.
If there's one thing that you have espoused, even in the formation of this team, this vision that you've had, when you bring somebody like a Räikkönen in, it's great. You provided him with a great show and, with a very competitive car. But I'm really, honestly, more interested in what having Kimi Räikkönen be part of your family did for all of the members of TrackHouse Racing, because you learn when you have experiences like that. So how is TrackHouse Racing and their legion of employees better thanks to Kimi Räikkönen?
That's a great question, and one I've not gotten yet. I mean, I think that it continues to build momentum within the company that we're all doing something special, and something that, I think everybody that's a part of the company feels like TrackHouse is one of the most creative and sort of groundbreaking, motorsports brands out there, especially in NASCAR. And I think that it just continues to build loyalty and equity among our workforce, because they can all go, you know, Justin has these big ideas and these big visions, and you know, we can go do it. We can do those things. So I mean, Project 91 was something that sort of was siloed a little bit from TrackHouse, but very much a part of the whole TrackHouse story and mission that's happening right now. So I mean, I think everybody's really excited about something like that. And I think when they see it come together and they see it successful, they get excited truly about what the future could look like and what the next thing is. So it was just exciting for everybody in the company. And yeah, I think it just continues to build that narrative among the workforce that it's like, you know, there's pride in saying that we work for TrackHouse.
Well, and I think you hit the nail right on the head. I've heard guys that work for you mention the fact, hey, my boss has got big ideas, has got a vision that maybe I, you know, don't totally grasp. So I'm going to just cut right to the heart of the matter. What's the next big idea that leaves you sleepless at night as you continue to jot down the notes and get ready to pull the trigger?
I mean, I have a lot of ideas. I think the you know, it's the challenge is in making sure that the things that we decide to do stay fundamentally part of the overall mission of TrackHouse, and we don't sort of lose our way when it comes to our personality and what we're trying to do. So, you know, I think it's hard because my ambition has a tendency to sort of outpace what we're capable of doing as a company, because I kind of want to do it all and I want to do it now. And so I have to sort of pull the reins back in on myself a little bit. But I mean, as far as the future of the brand and what TrackHouse is doing, I mean, I think potentially the NASCAR Cup Series is only the starting point. One of the things that I say is, you know, if 10 years from now or 15 years from now, I want to be able to look at people and say, remember when we were just a NASCAR Cup Series team? And, you know, so I have passion in all different kinds of motorsports. I think there's an opportunity once we build some real equity and some momentum with our brand in NASCAR, that there's an opportunity to grow that into other forms of racing, which is something that I want to do. It just has to be measured, and the cadence of those things have to not jeopardize what we're building right now in the NASCAR Cup Series. So I guess I would leave it just at that.
I like that. Do you remember when we were just a NASCAR team? Strikes me that might be the comment that Justin Marks makes to the rest of the crew as they hoist a bottle of milk as winners of the Indianapolis 500. I mean, look, you're a racer, and we're going to talk a little bit about your experiences, but is Indy on the horizon? I don't care if it's on the horizon way, way down the road or next year. I just get the impression that that's something you'd like to add to the TrackHouse story.
Yeah, it's 100%. It's 100% a goal of TrackHouse. My father took me to the Indianapolis 500 in 1995, and that's where this all started for me. I mean, you know, I watched Jacques Villeneuve win that race, and I was 14 years old and completely blown away by the scale and the magnitude that motor racing could have when I saw it there in person. And that really planted the seed that ultimately ended up being a career in motorsports. So yeah, I mean, I think the Indianapolis 500 is the greatest race in the world. I've always thought it's the greatest race in the world. And I think that, you know, when you're talking about global motorsports racing in the month of May, you're only talking about one race. So that's certainly, I believe, in our future.
You had the great opportunity. Now, look, you've never hung up your helmet. You know, we've traveled and in support races, all of a sudden there's Justin Marks and Trans Am, but you got an incredible opportunity to measure your abilities against some of the true legends when you took a one-off vacay and came to my track, Stafford Motor Speedway, to try your hand at SRX Racing. Maybe it didn't quite turn out the way Justin Marks had hoped, but the takeaways had to be incredibly valuable to you as an individual, and more importantly, yet again, to your vision about TrackHouse.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Don Hawk and the group over there were talking to me about coming and doing a race, and I was sort of slow to commit and slow to respond, only because I just felt like I was punching above my weight a little bit. I mean, I'm certainly not a legend of motorsport, and so, you know, being able to be on track with those guys is something that I felt like I had to get to the point where it made sense for everybody. So, you know, I think I just got to the point where I said, if I say no to this, I might just regret it forever, because these are some of my heroes, and It was an awesome experience. I mean, I tell people I'm in the kind of the Dana White school of entrepreneurialism, which means, I'm out in front of my brand, and anything that I can do personally to get out in front to promote and amplify TrackHouse and the brand, I'm going to do it. And so SRX was obviously an opportunity to do that because there's so many eyes on that series, and be able to come to a place like Stafford that's so historic, and y'all sold the place out, and there were so many people there that were excited about seeing the event. Plus I got to go wheel to wheel with some of my heroes. It was awesome. I mean, I got there late because I was running Trans Am in Wisconsin, and I got like 3 or 5 laps of practice, something like that, and drew the 5 pill for the first heat with Tony Stewart next to me and Brian Newman behind me. And it was like, go. And so I really felt like I was only really starting to kind of get the hang of it with about 10 or 15 laps to go in the feature. So yeah, I mean, I didn't finish last, which was kind of my goal, but it was just really neat to be a part of something like the SRX series. That's, a new and disruptive kind of thing. I mean, it's similar to sort of what TrackHouse is all about. And then to do it at such a historic racetrack, it was an awesome experience.
Don't cut yourself so short. All right. What was so much fun to see afterwards, beads of sweat, your race uniform just soaked. And then you get out and use the universal racer language. I forget whether it was Smoke or one of the other drivers. And here's the hands going this way and that way and describing what the car was doing. Dude, you fit right in. Okay. And you know what? I think that's important, Justin, that you keep your hand in it. Because as you say, while you're a disruptor, you're also a racer at heart.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I haven't met any truly retired race car drivers, and I mean, it's hard to stay out of the seat. I mean, I'm probably going to race here in a couple of weeks again, and because I feel like where I'm at in my life, I've got 20 plus years of experience behind the wheel, but now I have like kind of the mindset, like I'm young enough, I've still got speed, I've still got aggression, I've still got courage, but now I'm sort of thinking more methodically. So I'm kind of driving as good as I've ever driven, which is sort of weird because it's really the second year I've been out of kind of a full-time racing role, but I mean, it's when you get bit by the bug, it latches on and it's hard to let go. And so, I mean, I find myself, I'm pretty good for a few months. I'm pretty good for 3 or 4 months. And then I start Googling schedules and seeing where things match up. So I got to get back in the race car again. Sometimes a Trans Am car. I ran a truck race this year. I ran dirt modified races with Schrader in Illinois and Missouri last year. It's kind of just, I don't know what it ends up being, but it's just, I got to drive something.
I totally agree with you. Listen, this has been a real treat. I always love visiting with you. Good luck in the playoffs. Who'd have thunk? 2 really great performances all year in the regular season for both Ross and for Daniel, and nothing but high expectations. I'm sure we'll check in again a little bit down the road. Final question, just because he's been all over me, that crazy Brazilian, Elio. Is he burning up the phone to you? Because I'm sure after he saw Kimi running that car, I gotta figure he is absolutely driving you crazy because he wants to run the Daytona 500 in 2023.
I mean, Project 91 is Elio is a good fit for that. I mean, for what we're trying to do, right? I mean, it works well. I think, what I've been telling everybody, and I've had a lot of outreach, especially in the last 48 hours, is, Watkins Glen and Kimi was really about establishing this program and making sure that Project 91 can work inside a TrackHouse and that it gets the attention that we were hoping that it would get, which it did. And, now it's all about the playoffs for the 99 and the 1 car. And I think once we get through the playoffs, or at least deep into the playoffs, I can start sort of thinking about what the future of Project 91 looks like. I asked a lot of people in the company to sort of work time and a half to make this Project 91 thing go. And they did a great job of it. And there is a tremendous amount of opportunity out there. I've known Elio for a long time. He's a friend of mine. I'm a huge fan of his talent, his passion. And I think he'd be a great fit. These things have to work out as TrackHouse develops. It all has to fit together. So we'll continue to have those conversations as I've had with a number of drivers. And I'm really excited about what Project 91 will become next year.
Justin, a real treat. Again, thanks and good luck in the playoffs.
Thanks, Jack. Appreciate it.
Hey, car lovers, at Advance Auto Parts, we have what you need to keep your car running all season long. So if you enjoy getting ahead of the curve when it comes to taking care of your ride, Advance Auto Parts has everything to keep your ride on track to reach the victory lap. Because you can trust the team at Advance Auto Parts to assist you in finding what you need at the right price. Stop by Advance Auto Parts, where you're always number one.
This is how we advance.
A very special thank you to my guests this week, Ryan Hunter Reay, Evan Shotko, and Justin Marks. Make sure you check in next week when my guest list includes AJ Allmendinger, Michael Shank, and Claremont Speedway racer Ricky Bly. Until then, I'm Jack Arute. Thanks for spending time with me today inside the Wind Tunnel.
You've been listening to Jack Arute's Wind Tunnel. Wind Tunnel is brought to you by Advance Auto Parts, the official auto parts retailer of NASCAR. Follow us on our social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And be sure to subscribe to Wind Tunnel's YouTube channel, where you'll discover bonus content. I'm Lenny Baticki of Performance Racing Network's At the Track Show, saying thank you for joining us today. See you again next week.